Hello, and welcome to Heroes Explain. My name is Bubs, and you probably already know that. Well, if you're watching this video, this one will be continuing the medieval part and not the interdimensional travel bit with whatever. So, yeah. Well, I'm trying to, speed up my talk so there's not a long gap pause and you know our policies. No cuts or editing. Anyways, I may act a little different or what. I'm trying to do something different. Anyways, I'm gonna get straight to this, so I'm gonna pause a little bit. Okay, so if you remember where I left off, I'm pretty sure Cog was gathering his forces and armies to go and conquer the surrounded nations. If I did not say that in my previous Kingdoms Explained video, then, well, that's what he's doing. And as he's doing that, the city of Babel has, I'm pretty sure I stated that it broke out in wars and pretty much got devastated, and different factions were fighting over the city because multiple people fell ill to the sickness. It was like, calm down, but after the sickness passed through, people were awakened with superpowers, and each faction had their own citizens with superpowers, and stuff broke out. Anyways, so the city of Babel was plunged into chaos and ruined, and pretty much set afire. Everybody started scattering and spreading away from that, and trying to get away from the endless destruction that the factions were causing. Yeah. So Cog started his campaign against the most formidable opponents that was near his kingdom at that time. I never really made names and stuff, so if you leave a comment down below of a good name for a country or a faction or whatever, I will probably do that. Or if you, I don't know, I'm probably will make a suggestion part. I'm pretty sure I have a suggestion chat in our Discord. So if you're part of our Discord, you can also suggest the name of the country. And could you also kind of break it up to how it would be pronounced? That would help me a lot. I'm not really good at reading names. Showing weakness. Yeah, everybody has their own flaws. Anyways, so yeah, Cog set out this campaign with 10,000 of their best warriors to try and conquer this nation that's up in the northern region, high in pretty much like this mountain location. The thing is, beyond the mountains, there's the rare type of metal that's like deeper into the mountains, and this faction has full control over this alloy. It's called Lightanum. It's when you make a mythical made up superheroes thing or any fantasy world, you're bound to make up some fake random material. So Lightanum, how I've explained it to a bunch of people, is it's this crystallized metal alloy thing, whatever. So it traps light and contains it. It depends on how you fasten it and mold it. So if you build it a certain way, like a sword a certain way, out of Lightanum, the edge of the blade will pretty much be like a laser, a highly focused laser that can slice through a lot of stuff. So that's what Lightanum does. It traps and holds light, and then if you do it a certain way, it can release the light that it captured over the years or day or so, and release the light as a highly powerful laser. Yeah, so it's been not really used a whole lot because they don't know how to fasten in. It's just pretty much made to be like jewelry at this point. There are some armors made out of it because it's just as durable as iron. And so some people wear it as like kind of a decorative armor and whatever. So they look like they're glowing. So the kingdom, or whatever that you guys will name in the comment section, if anybody watches this video, don't go with Light Kingdom if anything possible. Well, you could, whatever. So Mr. Wolf already has a kingdom called the Light Kingdom, and I don't want to have another kingdom called Light Kingdom. Sure, yeah, mine's is another dimension, and it could be his altered doppelganger dimension, Light Kingdom. Whatever. I'm getting off track. So, Cog sets out to try and capture some forts at the foothills, because they live in the main castle is in the mountains, but they have some forts in a valley and then foothills and whatever. So Cog's plan was to take a route near this river that flows down to his kingdom that merchants use to go from the one kingdom, mountain kingdom, to Cog's kingdom, which I forgot the name of. It's been a while since I touched on this whole kingdoms things, but yeah, Cog marched his army up the river towards the mountain, and they hit the first village, and the village was called Nafa. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called that. Cog sent in just a handful of scouts to go in and asked if the village would be kind enough to give them food and some supplies and stuff, because Cog didn't really want to just destroy everything on his way there. If possible, he likes to maintain and keep the land that he's unconquered as mildly damaged as possible. He knows that there will be damage, there will be losses, there will be death, but there shouldn't be unnecessary violence and death. So he sent these scouts out to the village of Nafaf, and the hunters of that village were not back yet. So the village was low on food, and they sent out their hunters to try and get supplies for them to last the next 3 months. So they explained the situation to the scouts, that they barely have any food and they can't really supply them with anything, but they did give them a good suggestion on where to camp on the riverside, and they explained how some parts of the river is like near the river, the ground is soft, so you would sink into it, and how sometimes when merchants and whatever would camp by the river, their wagons would sink into the muddy, sandy soil, and they would have to dig it out. So they helped them out in that way, and Cog set up his campsite where the scouts suggested the villagers. Well, the scouts said the villagers suggested, and he did. And after spending 2 days there, they were catching food and stuff. They left that village, and the hunters came back with food and whatever. But, so, as the hunters were coming back, Cog army like walked past them. So as they were traveling to their destination, the hunters were coming back and encountered the army. They did nothing. They had a couple of deers and pheasants and not turkeys, quail and whatever other birds and stuff. And anyways, as they were coming back, Cog simply like looked at them and assessed their strength, and one man truly stand out from the rest. There was this man that had the most muscles or built or whatever you want to call it. He seemed to be the most fit and seemed more like a warrior than anything else. And he was the one holding a very big buck over his shoulders. None of the the hunters, had any wagons and stuff. All they had was dogs. And they had like a sleigh-like thing, but there was just limited wood, so not everything could fit on it. So he was the only one carrying this big buck over his shoulders. And, legs are tied. He's holding the tied legs to kind of keep it balanced. And so Cog was extremely impressed by this dude and made a mental note. So the reason I point out this dude, because that dude is Hunter. I forgot his last name is Hunter. His family's last names were Hunter because they didn't know pretty much this entire village were exiled, and they got new names to hide themselves, and how they named themselves was whatever job they took would be their last name. So because his family took on the hunting role, their last names were changed to Hunter. And he just kind of just had that name be his name. So he was known as Hunter, or the alpha hunter, the leader of the hunting party, and whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, they went back to Napith. Napith. And Cog continued his march, heading to village. Some would be like Napith, where they didn't have a lot of food, but would offer good camping sites, and then the others would have food and spare some with them. And then the ones that wouldn't bother with them at all and would kind of treat them horribly, Cog would destroy and burn to the ground, not leaving a single piece of charcoal left, and continued his march. It took 3 weeks to actually get to the nearest fort in the valley area. So the journey was like, it was like a year. It takes like 3 months traveling downstream, and it takes 6 months to go up. So usually when a person travels down with goods and stuff, they usually stay for 2 months to prepare for the 6-month journey back. Or some just immediately go back and using the funds that they got going down there to help them travel back up, and then the remaining would be used for food and other means and taxes and stuff. But anyways, yeah, so it takes Cog 3 weeks, right? 3 weeks before he reached the nearest fort. It would 3 weeks or 3 months. Nah, I would say a month. Okay, whatever I previously said, I'm scratching that and just saying a month. So it took him a month to get to the nearest fort that was in what's pretty much called the valley, which is just plains and fields and some forests dotted here and there and whatever. Your whatever, stereotypic. That's the word, stereotypic. So, yeah. So he reached the fort. The fort obviously fights back because Cog has superpowers due to the elixir they drink, or the green goo, or whatever you want to call it. It gave him enhanced strength, and he used that strength to pretty much just punch down the walls, and it was easily breached. His men that were with him also had some superpowers. Not really. Well, whatever. They were trained, so Cog trained his men to be the most physically fit there is. So his scouts were more like assassin ninjas, whatever, and his warriors were just beefed up tanks of a human, and he was super deadly before he was born with this power, and yeah, whatever. If he wasn't born with this power, he still would have been super beefed up and tanky and whatever. But yeah, Cog had the ability to just bend bronze spears and like throw boulders and stuff. So they overtook the fort with extreme ease, and once they took it, they asked the surrounding villages where they stand on this. Will they try to interfere? Would they stay neutral? Would they join them? And just pretty much that. And some of the villagers joined them, and the ones that did join were given the right to have some of their men come to the fort and take care of their needs. And after they leave, they would hand them the fort. But they will be loyal to, again, I forgot the nation that Cog's a part of. The Three Empire, or whatever. Yeah, it's been a while since I talk about this stuff, and I didn't really focus on names of kingdoms and stuff. I mostly focus on people, and technically speaking, this is before Earth shift and change. So America isn't built yet, and Asia's totally different, and Europe is different. Like, everything is different. Pretty much just one big landmass, and there's not a whole lot of islands at all. But anyways, yeah, I should have explained that earlier, but whatever. Yeah. I'm gonna end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed this ramble for 80 minutes or so. I don't know. Not 80, 18. It's been a long time. Anyways, yeah, I have a Discord server. Doesn't really matter. You don't have to join. I barely go on it. There's like only 3 or 4 people on it. It's not much, and there's not a whole lot to do. So, whatever. So, unsubscribe if you don't really like me, or just not subscribe in the first place. Don't hit notifications if you don't want to know when we post videos. If you do watch us and you do want to continue watching us, I do recommend doing that, since it's once a month, and every now and then I will skip a couple of months and it will never be uploaded and till like way later. So yeah, whatever. If you want to just know when we post videos, I recommend hitting the bell. If you don't care and will check on us every now and then, that's totally fine. I think, yeah, I don't really care about views at this point. I don't really care about subscribers. I'm just doing this because I want to just tell these stories. if you have any suggestions and stuff, like I said, you could make a Discord account, come to the Discord server, and suggest some stuff. There's also a channel where you can comment on what you think about this video, what you think I should change and stuff. I'm open to some suggestions, but whether I take them or not is up to me. And yeah. So Jammers and Mr. Wolf may come whenever, but right now, like I said in a previous video, that they decided that they didn't have the drive of creativity in them, whatever. Sorry, this video is way too long. I highly doubt anybody will watch this fully. And if you do watch this fully, type in what I said in like 18 minutes. So when I did the whole 80 minutes rant thing, type in 18 minutes, and then I'll know you watched the full video and didn't skip. And you'd have to post the timestamp of the 18 minutes. Yeah. Okay, well, this was a ramble, and I'm not that great. Bubs out.